Okay, all right, here we go. It's Valentine's night. I'll let people join up here. It's 8:27 on Friday, February the 14th. It's Valentine's Day. I'm not expecting a ton of live interaction on this one. I hope everyone's out having a good time with their sweetheart tonight. I'll just give it a few minutes before we start really talking about next week's freeze possibility here. So if you're not watching at 8:27, February 14th, 2025, it's a recording. We've got the Lex cam pulled up here, and you see the lights off in the distance, the bright lights. The Islanders are taking on Kansas tonight over at Whataburger Field. Chris Thomason is telling me that it's tied up, I think, in the bottom of the ninth with winning run is at second, so it could have a walk-off type scenario. He'll probably come over here if and when they win. Go Durs. So we'll get started here. Again, I'm not expecting too many people on a Friday night, but just wanted to talk and give a little bit more explanation as to why it looks like we could see, a little freeze action here next week. It's 53 out right now, north wind 7 miles per hour. You see the murkiness in the atmosphere. It's not crazy humid, but there's some moisture out there. I was looking around at the fog, the visibility. Beeville, you've got 2-mile vision. That's not overly dense or concerning. There will be, I think, some areas of patchy fog. Extra innings. Oh, man, they're going to extras over at Whataburger Field. Taking on a Big 12 team. So that's pretty cool to hear. Tonight, it's been in the 50s all afternoon. We've been slowly warming up. That'll continue overnight. I think we'll be in the mid to upper 50s after midnight, and that's thanks to southeasterly breeze or southwesterly breeze that we'll catch during the overnight hours. So that wind shift will be why temperatures don't fall into the mid 40s tonight like they did last night and early this morning. It's going to stay cloudy. There will be a few little areas of fine mist or drizzle, but it's really not anything heavy out there with respect to rainfall. Maybe enough to turn the windshield wipers on a time or two on your drive wherever you're going. But pretty quiet out there right now. Good weather for a date. A little cuddly action with the 50s overnight. The weekend, I think, looks pretty good. 80 here tomorrow afternoon. We'll start cloudy. There may be a few light showers in the morning, but the wind will turn from southwesterly to northwesterly tomorrow during the daytime, and that shift in the wind will be pre-cold front. So the front doesn't come in till after midnight in Corpus Christi. That prefrontal wind shift will bring in some lower humidity, and that'll help get the temperatures up in the afternoon. So we'll be up near 80 after spending a pair of days in the low 50s. It'll be a nice warm up. So the front comes in, no rain with it. It really brings in low humidity. The dew point going to be very low, so it'll feel crisp on Sunday. It's also going to be a bit breezy, especially in the morning hours, 10 to 20 north wind, gusting to 30 miles per hour. So Sunday looks breezy, crisp, cool-ish, mild. It's borderline sunny delight territory. If it weren't for the winds, we'd be going sunny delight on Sunday. Needless to say, it's going to look, we'll take it. We'll take this weekend. Good one for outdoor activities either day, with Saturday being the warmer day, Sunday bringing drier air, more wind, and slightly cooler temperatures. The timing now on this front, It's not going to be in until around midnight up in Bee and Live Oak counties, and then it'll progress south. It'll be a fast-moving front. So I think in the hours right after midnight in Corpus Christi, and then it should be through the entire area by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday. No rain with it. The winds pick up behind it. Temperatures fall into the 40s on Sunday morning, and then we stay in the mid-60s Sunday afternoon. So it's a harmless little front. This is not going to be a one that knocks our socks off or anything like that. But this cold front will set the table for what looks to be a decent chance at a freeze next week, next Thursday morning. This was the warmest start to any February through the 12th of the month. There had not been a warmer first 12 days in Corpus Christi on record. The last two have knocked us off that perch for 2025, the last 2 days. These cold snaps, they're not uncommon for middle of February. This is what we get. We get these bouts of colder weather that come through here, and we get a lot of variability in the temperatures this time of year. And the next week will be no exception to that. So we'll walk through the futurecast. You'll notice here that as we go overnight, a few coastal showers will be possible, and temperatures warm a few degrees overnight. So we're looking at middle to upper 50s and perhaps low 60s closer to the coast. And that's where the light rain chance will be most likely tomorrow morning, is near the coast. Note the wind out of the south, and it stays southwesterly through the morning and really most of the afternoon in town. It won't be till the late afternoon, evening that it prefrontal shifts to out of the northwest. If you look closely on the graphic here, you can see that happening close to the Highway 77 corridor. So if you're watching from Alice, for example, in the afternoon, the wind will shift to out of the northwest, but it's not going to be cold yet. It'll still be in the 80s, 82 over in Alice. And I think, Corpus Christi easily could be up around 80 degrees or so Saturday afternoon. This cold front, not going to bring any rain with it, that's for sure. It'll bring gustier winds and should be south of Corpus Christi by 2 in the morning Sunday. We'll wake up to middle to upper 40s, low 50s here on Sunday at sunrise. So it's going to be another shift in the weather. It'll be sunny, the humidity will be low, and the air will feel crisp. Mid-60s, that's it for Sunday afternoon, with the winds still pretty breezy up, sustained 15, gusting to 25. Windiest part of Sunday looks like the morning hours. So we just wanted to show today what's going on off our coast in the western Gulf, right off the Texas Gulf Coast. Little coastal low developed today, and that's why temperatures stayed the way they did. It was a cool day, and it was thanks to that influence of the spin around that coastal low just off of our coastline. It's also why we had a little bit of light rain in the area, and that will move north heading into tomorrow, and it'll loosen its grip, its influence on the region, and we will warm up because of that. So this is the futurecast, and that low gets pulled up by a larger system that's going to be moving across west to east, north of Texas, and that's the one that drops the front end Saturday night into Sunday morning. So Saturday, again, going to be pretty mild, warm, downright warm for some locations, and some places could get into the middle 80s Saturday afternoon. The front then comes in, just like we showed with the higher resolution futurecast modeling, into Sunday morning. You see there will be all sunshine. It's not a big deal for us. Meantime, so I jumped to this different graphic just to get the bearings on it. The cold front, this is Sunday 4 p.m. The cold front we get this weekend will be up the northeast coast. It's going to cause a mess. The system for New England, lots of ice, snow, and just a nasty day up there. But what that front does is it starts to dislodge some Arctic air and nudge it southward into the U.S. So that Arctic air by Sunday is going to be into the central plains, and the system that we're going to be watching to really pull that air southward toward us is going to be in the Pacific Northwest. So that will run down the Rocky Mountain West, and by Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, that low is going to be very close to Texas-Louisiana border. The cold front will come through South Texas early Wednesday morning, if not Tuesday night, but the Arctic air will still be north. So we're not looking at any freezing temperatures on Tuesday. We're not looking at any on Wednesday. It's Wednesday night into Thursday morning that I think the freeze potential will be at its best. And that happens because, a couple of reasons. The front comes through here and that ushers in the colder air, but high pressure will also be developing over the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, and the difference between the system that brings us the cold front and the high developing to our north will funnel down more cold air, the southern periphery of that Arctic lobe of air, if you will. And that's when we've got the chance for the freeze. As far as precip goes, at this time, the skies look to be clearing into Thursday morning. So I don't think we've got any issue like we did Martin Luther King week back in mid-January. I don't think we're looking at, modes of winter precipitation. At this point with that forecast, we were already talking about this is why we think it's going to be freezing rain or sleet. We were already talking about that at this point. This one doesn't look quite as strong as that one. And I don't think, again, we have the precip that will line up coinciding with the cold freezing temperatures. So that's Thursday morning. This is where I'm at right now with respect to the forecast. I've got us at 30 on Thursday, which would be a freeze. Those eyes I just made to call attention to that day, looking at it. It's when the freeze will be possible. We're getting questions like, well, is it going to be a hard freeze or a light freeze? And it's like, okay, we're talking about very, very small details, 28 to 30 degrees. That's the difference between a hard versus light freeze. And, I'm not 100% that we see a freeze. I think we're trending that way. But, answering a question within 1 degree at 6 days out, I'm not that good. I wish I was, but I'm just not. So, and I don't know of anyone that is. If you know of someone that is, I'd love to pick their brain. But the point I'm trying to say is that Thursday morning, that's when, if we are going to see a freeze, that's the most likely time. Friday morning, it could also be borderline, but Thursday's outlook is looking much more favorable for that to happen. I'm going to take a swig of water here. The trends now on it, we're still trying to identify just trends, and we're working in the direction of a freeze. It's looking more promising than it did yesterday, but the timing looks pretty steady. Very early morning, like 2 a.m. type of arrival time on Wednesday of next week. Then we wait another 24 hours for the freeze potential to come in. The freezing temperatures, the low 30s, that doesn't look like it happens till Thursday morning, and today's data came in a bit stronger. So a little more confidence in the freeze happening. There's nothing you need to do right now. We've already had a significant freeze this year, just fine. We're okay. This one's going to be a piece of cake. So I don't think we're going to be talking about any precip with it. That's the real stressful part of winter weather forecasting, is the modes of precip. The temperatures, we can handle this. There will be rain, but I think the rain happens widely scattered in nature Tuesday and Wednesday before the freezing temperatures come in, which I think will be Thursday morning. So by that point, I think we're clearing up. This is how it looks on the 7-day. I love this 7-day. This is fun for me. It's warm. It's, what's that song? You're warm, then you're not. You're cold. You're hot, then I don't know what the name is, but that's how I feel about this forecast. Something for everybody. Look at the temperature range, 30 to 80. That's quite the range of temperatures over the next 7 days. So, weekend looks good. President's Day looks pretty good. Looks really nice. And then we've got a little warm up into Tuesday. Then the strong front comes in with Arctic air piling in by Thursday morning with that freeze possibility. I put the red bar up there. That, for us, indicates a weather impact alert. I didn't put the verbiage on it because we try to hold off on that until about 5 days or inside 5 days when the confidence is a little better. So over the weekend, you might see that verbiage a little bit more. But I just put the bar on there just to highlight that Thursday morning time frame. I try to look at the comments just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. And it looks like there's only a few comments on it. So must have done either a really good job of answering all the questions, or everyone's out having a nice Valentine's dinner. Chris, how's the game?
They're losing 5-3 in the 10.
Oh, are they at batting?
No,
Kansas. Okay. Okay. It's not looking good. The wheels on the bus go around, right? Falling off. Yeah, the wheels are coming off. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe the bats will get hot and the Islanders will come back. If you want to know the final, Chris will have that on our 10 p.m. broadcast with all of the, hopefully, come from behind highlights of that game. So with that, we're going to leave it here. Again, the time is about 8:45 Valentine's Day night, and we'll see you either at 10 o'clock or on one of our other broadcasts, and we'll continue to update on the freeze next week. For now, though, hope you have a very good weekend.